This is Access Tech Live.
Back on the show, Marc Aflalo with Jennie Bovard sitting in for Stephen Scott this week. Now, Jennie, we're going to pull the curtain back here a little bit because when we were planning for this show, I asked you, what interests you, when it comes to tech or just when it comes to life. We talked about different things, and you brought up fitness trackers. But before we dive into that, I wanted to welcome somebody else to the conversation. You and I know him very well, but our audience doesn't. Bruce Baklarian is a man behind the scenes here at AMI TV who's, as I said before the break, he's an avid cyclist and a runner. You're actually in your running room, right, Bruce?
Well, in my studio / bike mechanic spot where I put all my gear. Sure, you can call it anything you want, but sure, running room.
Well, there's a bike hanging behind you. There's a picture, I'm hoping, of you on the bike on the wall. If it's somebody else.
No, it's not me. It's just a little drawing of the King of the Mountains, which is the jersey that is given to the best climber in the Tour de France. So that's what.
Very cool. Very cool. Jennie, why don't you start setting the stage for us a little bit and tell us how you use fitness trackers and what you're using right now.
Well, I don't know if I'm as well versed as Bruce with all of the tech and, in fact, techniques when it comes to running in general. But I started running about 12 years ago. And when I first started, it was like, if I can make it through this road race, if I can make it through this training run without falling over and requiring medical attention, I was happy with that. But as the years went on, a few years in, I really wanted to get faster. And as you do, you want to improve, right? So I went on to the Fitbit line of trackers. It was affordable. I had read really good things about all of the features. And the thing for me that was great with the Fitbit is that I was able to get audible information in my ear while running, while out and about. But the trick there is that I had to have my phone with me at all times. The Fitbits that I had they didn't have the GPS built in. They didn't have storage for music. So it was really just a tracker for me. I couldn't even use the Fitbit as a watch because I couldn't see the screen when out and about. I couldn't see the screen. Really, the text was too small much of the time inside. So I really wasn't able to use it as a watch or get real-time information when I wanted it. It was just at intervals when I had the phone with me and when I had my corded ear pods with me. But the years went on and I wanted to up my game and I was tired of replacing my Fitbits. I'm super hard on them. Every 6 months or so, I had to replace them. And I started looking into the Garmins and the Polar, the brands that and I had a really hard time finding information about the accessibility features that I wanted. And one feature that I really wanted is to be able to look at my watch and get information in real time when I'm out in the sun and that kind of thing. And I wasn't able to find anything that met those needs. You go into the sports equipment stores and you can't put on the watch and take it outside and see if you can see it outside. So as time went on, I just made the choice to, where you can go and try things on is the Apple Store. And I knew that would be a game changer for me. So now I'm an Apple Watch wearer and I have the AirPod Pros, which have transparency mode. That is a huge thing for me as well, being safe and being able to hear when I'm out running. A lot of the Bluetooth things I tried before for music and for getting audible information, it was like they were too cumbersome. It was too much on my head in terms of weight. I had my regular glasses, my sunglasses, my hat, so it was really uncomfortable. And the AirPods, they have transparency mode. So unlike a lot of the bone conduction type stuff where it sits on your ear, it's so lightweight, it's so free. I don't need to bring anything with me now but my watch and my AirPods, and it has been a game changer.
Yeah, the Fitbit is really kind of that consumer device to get people into the world of fitness. But I think when you get specific and you have specific needs, like Bruce, you queried me about a bunch of different needs specific to your running, right? And your needs were unique that an Apple Watch really didn't fit the bill. So what was your experience like? Where did you start and where are you at now?
I don't bash the Apple Watch per se. I think it's a great tool. My wife went the same way that Jennie. She had the Fitbit and then she went to the Apple Watch. Apple Watch is great. Potentially the best heart rate monitor in the market. The trouble with that, in my opinion, it's this the battery life. You gotta charge it daily, and I cannot afford that. That was my cycling computer complaining, the sound that you heard. I personally go with a Garmin system. I really like the ecosystem. Currently, I have I forgot the model, the Instinct 2X. That's what it is.
The 2X solar, right?
Showing 2X solar, correct. It is solar. I charge this once a month, believe it or not.
Wow.
And it has a gazillion features that is exclusive for running. Accuracy to me is prime. I don't care about all the whistles, all the bells. I don't care notifications. I mean, I could do it. I just take it off. I don't think it's necessary for me. That's just my personal choice, Frank. But for me, running is super important. So it took me months and months to choose this very device. I have it in my hand right now, and we were showing images of it. It allows me to run for hours and hours. I don't have to think about it. It tracks my sleep well, and it allows me to know my HRV, which is the heart rate variability, basically the time between heartbeats. And
Yep.
with that, it deduces or understands rather my rest and how much time I need to rest. It tells me like for your next long run, you need if I did a long run, you need 72 hours, you need 48 hours. So like to me that is important. So accuracy, in terms of heart rate monitoring, how I'm doing on the road, in terms of GPS tracking, how many kilometers I have run or I need to run. It depends upon my needs for the day, and again, battery. That's where I tend to need for the most part.
Yeah, you can't beat the battery life on that Garmin, but I think that what we're hearing is that there's no one size fits all. There's obviously, if you look at the Fitbit or the Apple Watch, they're kind of good for well-roundedness, right? But when it comes to specific needs, like as you said, you're a runner and you want those specific features, and it's best to find something that matches. Is there something, a feature on, and I'll throw this out to both of you, and you can throw your hand up if you want. Is there a specific feature that you're missing that doesn't exist yet that you'd love to have available to you that isn't there already? Bruce, maybe you want to start?
Well, sure. Not necessarily so much for my watch. I don't use my watch for cycling much, even though it's capable of doing that. I have a specific cycling watch, which I'm showing. It's the brand is Wahoo. It's another ecosystem that is pretty reputable in the.
Well, that's like a small kind of
cycling
plug-on
world.
device, right? That has a little screen on it with that
It
gives
has
you all the
exactly.
pertinent information when you strap at your
Yep.
handlebars, right?
It has you mount it to the handlebars. It gives you speed, cadence, power, time of the day, calories burnt, you name it, like a bunch of information. But on that note, when you cycle, you go farther than running, and sometimes
Yes.
if you don't want to get lost, there are specific routes that you want to do. So sometimes, because as you know, on a bike, you are predisposed to be, you're a vulnerable road user. So you want to go where the safest place possible. So you don't have that many cars around. So you need to find, in the cycling community, there are routes that you could follow that allow you to go in safe places. So sometimes you find those routes, and there's a file system called GPX, which is I think it's a GPS system international for many devices. But for the by computer, you need to go into the Garmin ecosystem. You have to import it. It's cumbersome. It takes a long
Yeah.
time. I wish there was an integration with, like, at this point, like Google Maps and Apple Maps are king. I wish it was just as simple as drawing it there or acquiring it from there and just like clicking
Yeah.
send and having it there. I wish that was available. So it was easy.
Jenny, is there something that you're missing from your Apple Watch that you wish was there?
I'm so in love with my Apple Watch. I got it 2 years ago. It's the 7 series. It's got GPS. It's got cellular. I literally can't think of a feature that I would want that I don't have. It has everything that I want. I could track my sleep. It does great heart rate. It's as accurate as I need it to be. But I think the one thing I would wish for is So I can look, this is the only watch, the Apple Watch, in my entire life. I'm almost 40 years old. I've never been able to glance at a watch and see the time and tell the time. And that is fantastic. And a lot of the apps within the watch are super accessible. I can change the text and the contrast. I can get audible information when I need it. But the thing I would wish for is when I'm mid-workout, when I'm in the workout app, the data visually, I wish that I could scroll through it and it be at larger print.
Yeah.
It's not as big as it could be.
Oh, we'll send that feature request in. Bruce, Jenny, thank you for talking fitness. Listen, there's no one size fits all, I think, and I think it's good to put your research in, which is pretty cool. Bruce, thanks for joining us. We'll chat with you again soon. Coming up, guys, a company that's looking to help anyone with mobility needs find the perfect accessible places. That company is Roll Mobility, and we'll meet their founders next here on Access Tech Live.
There's more Access Tech Live to come. Get involved and have your say at Access Tech Live on social media. We'll be right back.